So you found your dream home in Peterborough. The price is great, the location's perfect, but wait, there are thousands of dollars of hidden costs associated with the property if you're not prepared. In today's video, I'm going to break down the 4 hidden costs that every buyer needs to know, especially if they're purchasing a home in the Peterborough and Kawartha Lakes area. Hi, my name's Alex. I'm a local real estate agent here in the Peterborough Kawartha Lakes, and I help buyers and sellers navigate the local market and avoid surprises throughout their transaction. I appreciate you watching this video, and if you learned something new today, all I ask is that you click the like and subscribe button down below, and if you're interested in booking a call with me, you can click the first link in the description. All right, let's hop into it. Number 1 is probably the most expensive closing cost that you will pay, and it's called land transfer tax. This is a tax on any property transfer in Ontario, and typically it's paid for by the buyer unless otherwise mentioned in your agreement of purchase and sale. Now, it's calculated on a sliding scale, which means the higher your purchase price, the more land transfer tax you will have to pay. For example, let's say you purchase a $700,000 home in Peterborough County. The estimated land transfer tax on that purchase would be $10,475. Now, this is due before you get the keys, and typically it's paid to the lawyer in the form of a check prior to closing. Now, if you're a first-time buyer, you do get $4,000 off of that land transfer tax when you purchase your first property. And if you're like me and you like to plan ahead, you can go on RateHub. They have a fantastic land transfer tax calculator where you can enter the purchase price and location of the home you're looking to purchase, and they will give you an estimated land transfer tax so you can plan ahead when you're purchasing your next property. Number 2 would be any inspections on the property. Again, this is typically paid for by the buyer unless the agreement of purchase and sale specifically mentions that the seller will pay for those inspections. Now, common inspections in my area are home inspections, well and septic inspections, and wet inspections on any wood burning appliances. Now, a general home inspection will run you about $450 in my area, and a well and septic inspection may cost $300 to $400 each, depending on the inspector. And a wet inspection, as I mentioned, is for any wood burning appliance in the home. Typically, this is required by your insurance company, and it can cost anywhere from $200 to $400, depending on the inspector. So overall, if you did all 4 inspections, you're looking at about $1,200 during the conditional period to ensure what you're buying actually works. Now, some areas in the Peterborough and Kawartha Lakes are known for poor well conditions or may have original septic systems. In both cases, I absolutely recommend doing these inspections. It may cost you some money up front, but it could save you $40,000 to $50,000 in the long run if you did have to install a new well or new septic system. Hidden cost number 3 is something that you may not think about while you're shopping for homes with your realtor, and that is legal fees and adjustments. Now, you will need a lawyer to close the transaction, move the money from buyer to seller, and transfer the deed on closing day. Now, they do several other things throughout the transaction. That was just a general overview, but the point is you will need a lawyer to close this transaction. Now, each lawyer will run their business a little bit differently. Some may charge a flat fee for their service, or some may charge per service. But ultimately, the lawyer is there to fight for you throughout your real estate transaction. If something goes wrong, like there's any trouble closing the property, or there's any damage to the property, or maybe appliances don't work, your lawyer is there to fight for you and break down your options and advise you on what to do throughout that transaction. You also might run into something called an adjustment. This is when a seller prepays things like utilities or property taxes, and you're responsible for reimbursing them on closing. For example, let's say that you move into a property on October 1st, and the seller prepaid their property taxes for the entire calendar year. You will be responsible for reimbursing that seller for 3 months of property taxes. Now, don't worry, you don't have to figure this out or calculate it. Your lawyer will do all of that and advise you on how to proceed. Now, in my area, legal fees will cost about $1,500 to $3,500 depending on what services you need. So again, it's important to budget for this prior to purchasing a property. The final cost is really a basket of fees that will vary depending on the purchase. They can be things like appraisal fees, private mortgage fees, title insurance, moving fees, or internet. Now, these fees will vary depending on the financing for the property, the location of the property, and the type of property you purchase. Right now, in my market, we are seeing physical appraisals being requested by the bank. This is when a licensed appraiser physically visits the property and provides a value to the lender. Now, typically, the buyer is responsible for paying this fee, and it can range from $200 to $300 depending on the type of property. Now, title insurance is another fee that you may run into. Now, a lawyer will discuss this with you if it does come up, but essentially, it's an insurance that protects you against any issues with the title of the home, such as a structure being built over property lines, any survey errors, or any mistakes in the legal description of the property. This is a one-time fee, and in my area, it'll cost you about $300 to $500 depending on the property. Now, that was a lot of fees and information that I just threw at you. So, in summary, you're looking at about $10,000 to $14,000 in closing costs and hidden fees to purchase the average property in the Peterborough and Kawartha Lakes area. Now, obviously, this will vary depending on the property that you purchase. So, if you're looking for a clear breakdown of closing costs on a property you're interested in before you purchase, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can book a call to chat with me by clicking the first link in the description. And if you like this video and you have a home to sell, you might like the video I made on what you can do to attract an offer in a buyer's market. Click here to check it out. Talk soon.